Welcome to the No Cat Sports Show podcast where sports and convos collide. I'm your host, the Cobra.
More money.
I'm your host, Mo Money. I'm back.
You sleep, bro? But, I am your host.
On mute, man.
I am your host, O Dog, aka O. How y'all doing today, fellas?
Doing good, brother. You know,
Yeah.
another great day. We back again another week live on the podcast. We got a special show for the viewers and listeners today. A little different type of setup that I'm excited for.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome to get all different point of views and just hear the different stories about their experiences, man. I say we get straight to it, man. Y'all good? Everybody good? Family's good?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I say, Cole, man, we should just get straight to it, man. It's that time.
All right, well, let's do it. So, introducing first is one of the most prolific scorers in the history of Western Kentucky University. He's also me and Old Dog's uncle, Daryl Turner, where he earned first team All Ohio Valley Conference team honors. And he also led the Hilltoppers to the 1978 NCAA tournament that featured an overtime win over Syracuse and a tough Sweet 16 loss to a Magic Johnson-led Michigan State Spartans team. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Daryl Red Rose Turner. What's up, bud?
There he is.
Yeah.
What's up, Mom?
Our next guest, he's a smooth playing guard from the University of Dayton, where he scored over 1,500 points and handed out over 500 assists in his career. Ramad was 2 times All-Atlantic 10, including the 2003 A-10 tournament MVP. Ramad led the Flyers to 2 NCAA tournament bids. In 03, he led the Flyers to a number 4 seed, and then they went back to the tourney again in 04. To date, Ramad is regarded as one of the best point guards to ever play at the University of Dayton. Please welcome to the show, Ramad Marshall.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
What's up, sir?
What's up, Ma? What's going on, bro?
Man, I can't call it, man. Everything good, man. I appreciate y'all having me on, and I definitely got to get some of the other care. I like that.
It's coming ASAP.
Yeah, we got you. We appreciate you coming on the show, champ.
Absolutely. Our next guest is no stranger to the show. He is a legendary point guard out of Xavier University, where he's a top 20 scorer and top 10 in assists all time. Gary Lumpkin led Xavier University to 83 wins in 4 seasons, including 70 in his last 3 seasons, making the NCAA tournament 3 out of his 4 years at Xavier. He was part of one half of a backcourt that many considered to be the best backcourt in the entire country. Welcome to the show, or welcome back to the show, our man, Gary Lumpkin. What's up, Lump?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey. Our next guest is a former superstar wingman out of George Mason University, where he led the Patriots to the 2006 NCAA Final Four. Following, went on to have a 10-year professional career in Europe, and we're excited to have him on the show tonight. Please welcome Mr. Following Campbell.
Yo, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, Springbrook! Springbrook in the building, dog. Yeah, they cheated us too. We should have won that game. They cheated. That wasn't no motherfucking foul.
That was some balls we had, man. We definitely should be state champions.
It's all good. Yeah.
Lesson though.
You already know.
And last but not least, we have a legendary basketball player from George Washington University, where he finished as the all-time career leading scorer with 2,249 points, and he was a top 10 rebounder, a feat that only 4 players in school history has ever accomplished, being top 10 scoring and rebounding. He's 2012 Hall of Fame class. Welcome to before that, and he also went on to have a successful professional basketball career in Europe. So without
Yep.
further ado, welcome to the show, the legendary Chris Monroe.
Present family. Appreciate
See,
y'all having me.
you
Yes,
already
sir.
know.
Yes,
You
sir.
already know. Salute.
Yes,
Salute.
sir.
Family. Glad to be on here.
Hey, I want y'all to know, man. To this day, Chris still can't guard me.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah. We get started. We get cooking.
if we started off like that, I'm burn following up every day, every summer. When he used to play every summer.
That's the big dog right there, man.
And I like to see the DLV heat right there. That's good competition right there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Go
Hey,
ahead, Cole.
He
but
keep
look,
talking.
fellas, man, look,
Hey,
we oh, go ahead,
if he
Chris.
keep talking trash, I'll pull up the following house right now. You know them lights still come on over there in Hillendale.
Yeah.
I'll pull him out, bring him out there, right
I
behind
ain't
the
gonna
fire
lie.
department.
I don't want no problems, man. You got it, Slim. You got it.
Yeah. So look, fellas, look, we all excited for you guys to be here tonight. You know, this is the first time we have this specific setup where we have a panel of of illustrious, accomplished superstar basketball players who accomplished so much in their Division One basketball careers and beyond, to go on to play professionally. And in the spirit of March Madness, this being college basketball season, one of the best seasons out of any sport, we wanted to get you guys together to talk about your awesome playing careers and your experience playing in the NCAA tournament, and maybe even in some cases falling short of making the NCAA tournament, and how that felt, and what it would have meant to you making the tournament. Putting in all of that hard work, because everybody in the beginning of the season has that one goal to get your name called to be a part of that bracket to play in March Madness. So if we can just start off, and we'll go around the horn, and we'll start with you, G Lump. If you can talk to us about, your experience playing Division One college ball, and how high of a priority was making the NCAA tournament to you and your team.
First of all, man, it's a pleasure being out here with all these great basketball names and all. I some sitting here, the journey of how you guys had, man. Man. First year getting there to Xavier, we didn't know. We was freshmen trying to figure it out. 10 at that point, starting to blow up. It was our first year there. Still remember. It's funny. I just pulled up the game played against UMass when they was ranked number 1 in the country. When they was on a 25 game win streak, and on our way to the Final Four. And even then, man, we were just out there trying to figure it out, competing, trying to get our name out, and trying to do the best we could. But it wasn't until that second year when it really set in what college basketball was all about. And, was able to go that sophomore year. And, man, it was crazy because going there and playing Vanderbilt the first round, and then, eventually seeing UCLA in the second round, man, it was an awesome experience. Nothing like it. When you see them, you see those team names, you see them guys, that are on the big stage every night, and then you got a mid-major like Xavier, Dayton, or one of the schools like that, playing them schools, man, it really, motivates you to want to go out there and perform your best. And, we were, pretty fortunate to get that first one against Vanderbilt. Had a tough one with UCLA there in that second round. But overall, man, it's nothing like playing in the NCAA tournament. I remember looking at a sheet of the attendance from one of the games. I think it was our junior year we played Washington. and there were like 25,000 people at the game. It didn't seem like it because you really couldn't see them. But to be playing in front of that type of crowd and all the TV cameras there, man, it's not.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Ramon, how about your experience? I know you've enjoyed some success at the University of Dayton, leading your team to two NCAA experiences, and I know that's a big deal to the Flyer faithful. Just can you talk to us and explain to us what the energy was like surrounding the team and you going into the tournament for that first time, checking into the hotels, going to the little events and stuff. Can you kind of tell our viewers and listeners what that feeling felt like?
Yeah, man. I mean, it feels like how it looks. I mean, when before you get there, you're seeing all the cameras everywhere, the people. So, you kind of like feel like that rock star. You got police escorting you everywhere, 5-star hotels, all that. For us, the faithful, you already know how it was, Cove. I mean, that was like, Dayton is everything in that city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it was one of them things where, they everywhere you went, they was praising you, congratulating you. The one thing about it, Dayton had a tradition of winning. And so, once we got to that point where we was able, especially that first year, I felt like we had a squad that could really go somewhere because we was the 4th seed that year. And, after really making it there and seeing how everything went down, man, it was just more like, it just give you that, like, I got to get back to this. Like, you don't want, like, the whole NIT and all that. I mean, I'm a winner, so I ain't gonna lie, I don't even want to do none of that. So, like, once you get there, bro, it's like a whole nother feeling. Everybody calling you that you ain't even know you had, even knew you cousins, everybody. So it definitely was an experience, man. It's something that I think every college player needs to experience because, once you get that feeling, man, you don't want to go down at any point.
Yeah, and I'm gonna piggyback on something you said, Ramon, because I remember one particular year when we won 22 games, and we won a regular season Atlantic 10 title, and then we sitting there selection Sunday. Then our name came up as one of the first 4 teams who bubble burst. So we was that 4 out. They didn't have to play in games back then. So we was the 4 out, and we had to go to the NIT tournament. And I just remember just my energy and enthusiasm to play the NIT was just, I mean, it was at an all-time low, man, because you was just so close to going to the big dance, and then you go to the NIT. That's definitely a buzzkill.
Yeah, man. And just one little tad bit. My freshman year with Tony Stanley, we made it to the NIT, right? So we ain't want to go. So we tried to get with OP, Oliver Purnell, and tell him that we ain't want to play. And his wife told us that he was had too much wine and he wouldn't meet with us because he knew we wasn't trying to go. And we ended up playing and getting all the way to the game to go to New York. And we played that
Yeah.
Detroit team with Rashad Phillips and what's my man name, the coach for New Orleans, Green.
Okay. Mo Green, is it Mo?
No, the coach. What's the coach for New Orleans right now?
Willie Green.
Willie Green. There you go. He
Willie
played
Green.
with the
Yeah,
Sixers
yeah,
back in
yeah.
the day. Yeah.
And man, we couldn't do nothing with Rashad Phillips, but it was funny because we was not trying to mess with that NIT at all. So I know that feeling.
Yeah. And following to you, following, I know you had an awesome experience, in your NCAA tournament run, an experience that too many college ball players just don't ever get to experience. So can you kind of tell our viewers and listeners about your experience playing an NCAA tournament and leading your team to a Final Four?
It was remarkable, man. I still tell a lot of people to this day, man. I played 16 years in Europe, and the most fun I had playing basketball was at George Mason University, man. And it's only because of that run we made. Because I mean, I get it, Dayton, Xavier. At the time, they were mid majors, but we were truly like we were in the CAA, the Colonial Athletic Association. Like we got an at-large bid. We weren't supposed to get that. We didn't even win our conference that year. You know what I mean? And it was just crazy how we got the at-large bid. So everybody's already saying, look, they shouldn't even been in the tournament. We should have got another team from the SEC or the ACC. Like they just gonna get road running the first round. And I mean, we just use that as motivation. You know what I mean? We use that as motivation. As Chris Monroe would know, we had our starting five. We had 5 guys from the DMV area. And I always consider I mean, again, no shade to anybody else, but I consider DMV area having the best talent in basketball in the country. And we just went out there and we played like that, man. We were gritty, you know what I mean? We just played hard. We shared the ball. And we beat, on our run to the Final Four, we beat 3 previous NCAA champions. You know what I mean? We beat UConn, who won the championship the year before. We beat North Carolina. We beat North Carolina, who won the championship the year before. We beat UConn, who won the championship 2 years prior to that. And then we beat Michigan State in the first round, who won the championship, 4 years prior to that. So again, man, that run we had, man, it was special. And then again, you got a small team in Fairfax, Virginia, who is always confused with GW, George Washington, or they confuse us with James, George Madison because of James Madison and VA. Yeah. Like there was no respect, you know what I mean, at all. You know what I mean? And we just went with a chip on our shoulder and played well, played hard. I know Ramon brought up, the police escorts and the 5-star hotels, and that was all great. But when we got to the Final Four and the shoot around we had, it was 20,000 people watching shoot around. And you got to remember, we a small school in Fairfax, Virginia. We got at that year, we had maybe 3,000, 4,000 people max at our games. Wow. So, you know what I mean? Like we getting a shoot around, like, hold on, Slim. Like, around, like at this point, we just in awe of just being there. And it's like that, all that hard work we put in, throughout the year, and it showed, you know what I mean, on that run to the Final Four. And then obviously playing the Final Four game and having 80,000 people at the game, and nationwide, like just putting George Mason on the map, man. It really meant everything to myself, because again, I definitely had some bigger schools offering, but again, and it showed. And I tell a lot of the kids that I work with, look, go to schools where you're going to play right away, and they're going to appreciate you, and you're going to have a chance to get to the tournament. That's all it was about. It was about having a chance to get to the tournament, and then after that, anything is possible, man. And we showed that.
Awesome. One of the things I want to say about the George Mason too, man, y'all lucked up and was able to get, I think it was the Elite 8 or something like that at the crib. So y'all was right. Y'all had that. Y'all was at the crib, so y'all had a lot of following. I mean, it was like the whole city started, you know what I'm saying, rooting for y'all and stuff like that. Y'all was a Cinderella team, and to have that, I think it was the Elite 8, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so it was a Sweet 16. Yeah, it was Sweet 16.
Sweet 16, right.
At that time was the Verizon Center, and that's
Verizon Center.
10 minutes down the street from Fairfax, Virginia.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember following, but Big Bro, who was our, obviously a family and of the show, Sean Springs spoke to y'all before. Big Bro spoke to y'all before the game.
Yep. It was definitely a lot of love, man. Again, I'm assuming they didn't think we was gonna make it that far. That's why they had the games there. But we ended up, getting to the Sweet 16 like that. That's a home game for them. So 75% of the fans cheering for us, and not to mention UConn. At that time, they were the number 1 overall team in the country, and they had 6 guys get drafted that year. We didn't have 1 player get drafted in the NBA. UConn had 6 players, 5 in the first round and 1 in the second round.
Yeah,
and 2 of them were lottery picks: Rudy Gay and I want to say either Hilton Armstrong or Josh Boone, one of them. But then they also had Marcus Wood. Like they had a star-studded team. You know what I mean? So, it was a remarkable run, man.
That's dope.
Yeah. And during our era, when we came up, that's when the NCAA tournament was tagged March Madness. It was a lot of hoopla around the tournament, a lot of excitement around the tournament. But Uncle Daryl, you and I, we talked offline a couple of days ago regarding your experience going into the NCAA before they was tagged March Madness, and it wasn't as much I guess push behind it and much that excitement behind it like it is now. Can you talk to our viewers and listeners about your experience playing at Western Kentucky and leading your team to an NCAA tournament, to the Sweet 16 at that? You're on mute. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Can't. I'm gonna let you get your audio right, and I'm gonna move to Chris. Then we'll come right back to you. So Chris, I know when you was at GW, that was more like those years was transitional. It was in when I played in the A10, we played against some really good GW teams led by Shantae Rogers, and they made their runs, and then your era came in, and I mean you. I mean, without being said, I mean, you're the all-time lead scorer, so you guys came in with the superstar players, including my little bro Val Brown, that was with you for a little while at GW2. So tell us about the challenges that you all had in your attempt in representing Atlantic 10 in the NCAA tournament.
Oh man, I think that's one of the things that I always look back at my college career and I'm like, we were so close, right? Me and Val came in, we was deemed, the top three backcourt. You had Jason Williams and they guys, and we were putting up numbers that were extraordinary. And me and Val had a vision. Val went to GW because of me. I went to GW because of Val. And Tom Penders brought us in, and he was a coach that was successful, put out pros, and he was at Texas before, so he had a representation in the tournament. And so he was building something at GW, and he only had 3 years at GW, so I had 2 years with him. He had that 1 year with Shantae, and then before when they went to the tournament, I believe they lost to Duke or Indiana that year before I came in. So it was a rebuilding process with me and Mike King and everybody else coming in. Shante had just graduated. Um, and so, we was rebuilding for 2 years. That sophomore year, because Val left for the pros his sophomore year, and then I came in and we was just holding it down. We had a lot of DMV talent coming in. We had Mike King from Baltimore. We had TJ Thompson that was there. We had a lot of people from the team assault that was supposed to come in and kind of help us get to that level. But we also had guys that a lot of people knew, like Attila Cosby, right? Who was a top 5 player coming out of Oak Hill Academy. He was on the team. So it was me, Val, Attila, and then we had some other guys from outside that Phyllis. And I think we were just close. I think, we were right at the cusp. We lost to Temple that year. When I was supposed to go to the tournament, we lost to Lynn Greer, and I see Lynn Greer today up there in Philly. Lynn Greer is a bad boy, but
Yes, sir.
we were right there. You know what I'm saying? And I always think back to what would it be like if I was still had my junior year, if I was to have Val, Attila, and everybody. We went through some controversy at GW. The coaching changed, and they brought in Carl Hobbs that came from UConn. And so we lost that whole recruiting class myself going into my junior year where everybody decommitted. And so I was really left there with me and TJ Thompson. And the only reason TJ Thompson came back to GW was because I stayed and I knew him because we was a part of the same AAU program, right? So that's what kept me solid. And right after that, you got, my senior year, we got Pops and Mike Hall, 2 NBA guys, J.R. Pinnock, the last guy that got drafted from GW, who went 58 to the Lakers, you know what I mean? And, we got Carl Elliott and those guys that came in. But we were right there, and that's one of the things I always look back for, and I missed it because I was in that transition, right? I could have went to the tournament, I could have went with Coach Bray in Notre Dame, and when he gave me that the invite, but I didn't. I'm a hometown boy, as O would tell you, what I mean? I love the fact that I had my people being able to just catch the metro and come to the game, and everybody, the neighborhood effect. But I always think back how close we were to being in the NCAA tournament, and we had the dogs to do damage. Similar to George Mason and how they had dogs. The DMV has dogs, and you put us in any kind of landscape, whether it's the list of on football or basketball, we produce dogs that produce under pressure, right? Because in this area, in the DMV area, it's like the pressure, you produce diamonds, and I think we get a lot of talent from this area because it's so small and the competition is so fierce that when you put us in opportunities to where that light is bright, that tournament light, right? I think that we exceed, we produce, and it doesn't. You don't have to be first team all Washington Post or anything. You could be, first team Montgomery County, first team PG, DC, and you're a dog. So that's one of the main things that I missed out on. But GW was in that transition at that point in time.
Yeah, and I want to expand on something that you said. I mean, I already explained the illustrious career that you had, and you putting GW on your back, and getting the most out of that team, trying to reach your goal. Uh, a player like you that was one of the best players in the A10, one of the best players in the country with the numbers that you put up, um, you know, making the NCAA tournament, that put you on the stage where the rest of the United States would have been able to see who Chris Monroe is and what type of work that you're putting in out there on the court. So fast forward, like now in today's environment, would you have taken advantage of the transfer portal if that was available to you back then?
Right now, when you talk about the transfer portal, what I'm seeing, it has a lot to do with money too, right? I came up under that era where, with your AAU coach or your high school coach would look at the program that you were going to and be like, this fits your game. I think a lot of the student athletes nowadays are just chasing the bag and the money and the name and not looking at what the coach's system is like, right? Because not everybody can play in every
Mm-hmm.
system. That's a problem that a lot of these players have run into where they come from an AAU culture where they're able to dribble and they need 4, 5, 6 dribbles to score when, things like that. So I give a perfect example. I look at like somebody like Juan Dixon, right? Juan Dixon was great in that flex system at Maryland, right? He wasn't a one-on-one guy. He wasn't a Steve Francis. Steve Francis was Steve Francis, right? But you
Right.
had Juan Dixon. You got him coming off the screens and picking pops. He gonna kill you if you don't get around there. He gonna eat you up because he had that IQ and smart. Steve Francis, he's so shifty. You trying to stay in front of the seat. We just going to ISO that side, right? And you got to get with a coach that identifies with that, and that's within his system, or he's going to allow you to do that. I went to GW because Tom Penders was a guard coach, and he was like, listen, if you can get a bucket, go get a bucket. And so that's why Val, as a freshman, was able to average 24 points and almost led the nation in scoring as a freshman. And that's why I was able to do what I was able to do numbers wise because we ran a motion set, we were ahead of time, and we was very active. Now, if it was more of a half court set like Jarvis, I don't think I would have done what I would have been able to do, right? Because Jarvis was slowing down. He was a half court set, and that was his game. That fit a Mike King, right? So I look at it now where a lot of players are just looking at the name of the school. They're looking at the money that the NIL can give them, and they hopping in the portal for that. But they're not really happy where they're going because a lot of these kids are missing the number, missing the opportunity of getting with a program or going to a mid-major, playing for a Tony Skin, playing for a Chris Caputo, and them allowing you to showcase your skills, which some are taking advantage of, right? You see a lot of these mid-major kids playing, putting up good numbers, like the kid Harper from Howard, right? He went there. He wasn't on nobody's radar in high school. He grew a couple inches. He now all rookie everything, right? And they're talking about him, right? So you got to look at that and say, do I want to go to a mid-major, a big school and sit on a bench and just get the NIL money, or can I really go to a school like Howard, GW, or some of these other places and really showcase my skill set and get to the right situation for me? And so, yeah, this portal, this situation with the portal is a lot different than when I was playing. It's something that these kids need to be educated on.
Yeah, absolutely. Uncle Daryl, back to you. You got your audio straight?
I believe so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. So
Okay.
back to the original question. As I stated, we talked offline, and the hoopla around the March Madness NCAA tournament wasn't the same as it is now. And I wanted you to just kind of talk to our viewers and listeners about your experience playing in the NCAA tournament, what it meant to you and your teammates, and then making it to the Sweet 16 to play against Magic Johnson.
Well, it was a great experience, but it was a big difference. I played in 1978, where there was no three-point shooting. Also, we had a big crowd. I loved to play in front of the crowd. We had a small team. Western Kentucky had a small team, and our first game was Syracuse, we were the underdogs, definitely the underdogs. The tallest man I had was 6'7.5", I believe, on my team was 6'7.5", and they had a hell of a zone. They played a 2-1-2 zone because they pushed us far out. But as far as the experience, just being there, being on that stage, I had good memories and I have some bad memories. The good memories are that I was on that particular stage. The bad memories, I had two bad games, and I wished I had two good games, but I didn't. So they didn't see me at my best. They didn't see me at my
Way to
best
keep
at
that
all.
shit a buck, huh? That's right. Most people come on here and be like, "Yeah, I dropped 40," and I had
Oh
way to
no,
keep that shit a buck. You already
right,
know. Yeah, that's
right. I
right.
didn't drop 40, but like I said, it was all my shots are 3 points. I averaged 16.4. So if it was 3 points, I would average 36 points a game. But again, I mean that's facts. It's strictly facts. When we played against Magic, I think my coach didn't want to play Kentucky. Kentucky won a championship that year, and I think it was a kind of political thing. I really believe it was because our coach put us in a 1-3-1 zone against Michigan State in the second half. The first half, I was all in Magic's jock, all in his jock. Magic wasn't a shooter then; he was a passer, strictly passer. But they put us in a 1-3-1 zone in the second half, and I couldn't figure that out. They had me running from one corner to the other corner on the baseline, Magic up front, just picking us off. Kelson was coming, just picking us off. But to be truthful, I really believe that the NCAA is, as y'all know, one of the greatest stages to be in for an amateur to be on. And again, 78 in the day's time is a big difference. March Madness is what it is, and to be in it was a great opportunity. I was glad to be in it. I just wished I had a couple good games there, basically.
Yeah. I looked up your stats in that Michigan State game. You put up your shots. you was 6 for 20.
Six for
So you
what?
got
6 for what?
6 for 20. But
Golly,
hey,
huh?
so you got your
I
shots.
was a
So
shooter.
I
Hey, hey,
gotta salute you on
hey, my brother, they
that.
pushed me. They pushed me all the way to the baseline. All the way to
But
the
they must
baseline. But yeah, I
did they
took the
push you
shot.
to half court? What did they push you to half court too? Good gracious.
Just about. They had a
But
hell.
but
They had a hell of a 2-1-2 zone. But you
I
say
bet you
6 for
they
sure. You
did.
showed them stats was right on that
that
shooting
was 6 for
nephew.
20. But in your defense, to what you said about you being in Magic jogging that first half, Magic was only 3 for 17 in that game. So I gotta salute
Yeah,
you.
he wasn't no.
That's your matchup.
Yeah. I was in his
Hey,
job. Well, ain't
Yeah.
no doubt. But you say 6 for 20. I can't remember that. That's too far back for me. I got to look at it up myself.
Hey, in Western Kentucky, is that they got the movie out? Is that the same school that they had the movie out about the people the school Western Kentucky where they had where they started the first 5 black
that was Texas. That was Texas.
No,
Oh,
okay.
no. That's
That was
in
Texas.
Texas. That's
Oh, okay.
Texas. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
All
Texas.
right.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool.
There's a big
Cool.
difference. Big difference. But again, it was a great experience, and I know all the guys enjoyed that experience too.
So did you get the same experience with the police escorts and all that? Or y'all was just on your
Yes, we
own?
did. Yes, we did. No,
Okay,
we
okay.
had all that. We ate
Good.
good. We slept good. The women were
Oh.
there. We had a good time, man. We had a good time. Yes, we did.
Yeah,
We
huh?
had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep that joint about.
yeah. Tell it like it is, man. Tell it like it is.
As
That's
you
how it
should.
was.
As you should.
Yeah.
But I know Kobe asked a question to Chris, but I would like for all y'all to comment, starting off with you, G Lump, about the transfer portal, because a lot of y'all did go to mid majors, and I understand. And the one thing that everybody said on here, that it was about that experience as far as playing on a big time stage. So my question to all y'all is, okay, take y'all in this day and age, would you try? I heard what Chris said, and that sound good, right? About the, being with the right system. Chris Monroe, we grew up together. Chris, knock it off. So, being with the right system, and I get all that. But when somebody offering you 1 point whatever or 500,000 or whatever, a lot of times they're not bringing you over there to be on the bench. And if you do your homework, right, and you do your due diligence, then you know where to go and where not to go. So my question to you, to all of you all, would you have gone if you had the opportunity? And like what Chris said, the right coach in the right system, would you have gone in the transfer portal, or would you have stayed at your particular school?
Oh, let me jump in real quick. Let me clarify. Like when you talk about that money in the system, these kids still got to produce, right? You go to the wrong
100%.
system. You go to the wrong system. They looking. They listen. They will tell you like they got boosters. It's the way this thing is set up is you got collectives that influence the AD and the coaches because now they
Right.
paying for the players, right? And
Yep.
the players still have to produce out there, right? And if
Right.
they don't produce, then they are going to be told one way or another, like your NIL deal's not for 4 years. Some of them do for 4 years, some of them do it for a year.
Right.
So a lot of these kids, if it was me in there, like I'm looking at it like, all right, just like following can tell you overseas, you're a player for hire.
Right.
What you do that year, you're only as good as your last year.
Right.
So my value that following year is only going to be what it is. So if I don't produce, I may not get that bread next year, and now I'm stuck in a situation. So
I got you. I got you. Yeah. I got you. But
you know what I'm saying?
hold on. Let Lump go first, and then we're gonna get to it. Trust me, we're gonna get to it
okay.
for sure. But I got you.
So
when I first started, money-wise, that's a big factor. Most guys today would definitely take the money, but I think he had a very good point. You want to go somewhere where you can play your game. You want to go somewhere where you're comfortable and do your thing. I mean, it's just that simple. But the money definitely changes the whole game. I started in a junior college in Florida, won the state championship, and I went to New York to visit Lou Carnesecca at St. John's. And he thought I was from Florida, but I'm from the DMV. I'm from Alexandria. I got off the plane with a three-piece suit on. He thought I was a country boy, which I'm not. But anyway, when I got off the plane, he shook my hand, and when he shook my hand, it was something in my hand. He had 5 $100 bills in my hand. That blew my mind. That shocked me. And then he set up this big old party for me and so forth. And but I would have to sit out a whole year if I stayed with St. John. That's why I didn't go to St. John. But again, the money factor again is a big game changer. These guys got to go. I'm sorry, but they got to go. Those that go for the money, I'm not upset with them. My hat off to you. But you do want to go somewhere where you can play your game. If you can't play your game, you're not going to be happy. Like the brother said, if you don't produce, you ain't going to get that money no more.
Gotcha.
That's how I see
it. Gotcha. Go ahead, Lump. Yeah. Go ahead, Lump.
And I'm out. So check this out. Probably about 6 months ago, right? I talked to one of the assistant coaches that coached me at Xavier. He's at St. Bonaventure, Mark Schmidt. He made a comment. We was talking. He was just kind of mentioning how the whole NIL piece goes and all. And he was talking about how he had lost some players because players that were okay. They weren't even great. They were okay. And whereas they might get offered $50,000 and a car at St. Bonaventure, they were going to like USC, so it's like Southern California, and getting $400,000 in a car, right? So when I look back on that, I was thinking about this, and he said it. He was like, if you and Lenny and Pose were in this era, y'all would have been gone after your freshman year, right? Y'all would have went somewhere because we was competitive. I'm listening to the DMV guys, and I feel y'all like coming from little small Delaware, as a guard and playing against them. I'm like, yo, I trust my instincts anywhere. Like I can go play anywhere, right? And I'm gonna go compete and I'm going to play. Like the coach, like I'm going to make the coach play me because I'm going to produce. But I'm going to get that money, y'all. It sounds good. It was too many days that I was in that dorm with no money. Meanwhile, a number 12 Xavier jersey is being sold, like 15 of them being sold, and I'm not seeing any of that money. It wasn't no last name on the back then, right? Because they couldn't put our names on the back. So they would just sell them out the bookstore. So you see 15 jerseys, and none of that money touches your hands. Meanwhile, I'm in my dorm starving because my meal money ran out. right? So now to go from that to all of a sudden I got a chance to go make even $100,000 a year. Like it's life changing, man. For me, I think that's what I would do.
I feel you, Lump.
Same question to you, Ramad.
Yeah, man. I will say this for is after my junior year when we had that hell of a year, OP went to Clemson, and a lot of people don't know this. He hollered at me, wanted me to go to Clemson and help him build his program. But at the time, I had got MVP and I had some NBA scouts on me and stuff. So, and I thought that we was getting Ron Jerse as the head coach. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna stick around. I'm loyal. You got this time, and plus we had to sit out that 1 year. You know what I'm saying? And so I ain't want to sit out my senior year, but like they said, for as if the money was different, because he threw out a little number, but it wasn't the numbers that it is now. So if it was the numbers it was now, how I look at it is if you like a top draft pick, okay, you look at system and all that so you can see where you're going to, possibly put yourself for as the draft. But if you just kind of right there teetering if you're going to make it or not, man, go get every last bit of that money you can because, just like them girls are doing right now. They ain't getting that money in that WNBA, which is to me like the same tier as a mid-type guy coming into the league. So you get as much as you can, and if you got to play at 4 different universities, oh well. You know what I'm saying? Because you got guys like Bangkok that was at Carolina. He got a hotel now. So even if he don't really ever make it to the NBA, he done put himself in a position where he good. So I definitely would say, yeah, I would dip too. Don't get me wrong. If it's just a great situation and you already somewhere that they really gonna look out, cool. But nah, you got to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Fallon, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree with Lump and Ramad, man. It's difficult with this day and age with the money that's being thrown out. And also you got to look at it, man. A lot of these players, man, like their parents ain't making that type of money. So they play a factor in it. You know what I mean? Like, my dad, my mom is making 40,000, 60,000 a year. Somebody at school is offering you 200K. Like, hold on, I can get my mom 40, I can get my dad 40, and I'm still good. Like, it's just so much you think about when you enter that portal. You know what I mean? And I'm just thinking about it like I do love the fact that I spent 4 years at Mason. I can talk to the alumni. I can talk to the donors. There's a relationship that we have. It's not that doesn't happen anymore. Like there's no relationship with alumni. There's no relationship with donors because again, one kid will come in 1 year for a 5th year and he's out of there. You know what I mean? Or one kid will come in. There's no relationship with the alumni, donors, players anymore. But again, when the money's being thrown at you and somebody says, okay, look, you had a good year at Mason. Like after the Final Four, I averaged 17 in the tournament. I'm like, man, I'm out of it. Like another bigger school is gonna come knocking. Like fit or not, I'm gone. You offer me 500K, like the money that, and again, it might not have been the same back then, but it's just too much money being thrown. And now that I played in Europe, you know what I mean? It's like, hold on, you still probably making more money in college. I'm talking about now. Now back then it was different, but now you probably still gonna make more money than you make here than in Europe. You know what I mean? Like, it's only a select few that's playing on the Euro leagues and chain, like Chris and whoever else played in Europe. You got to play with the top teams and be making that top figure money. But you can make that in college now. And that's what's crazy. So that's my take on it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, awesome. And now, dog, go ahead, huh? You had something.
Go ahead, Chris. No, Chris, I was going to let Chris finish because Chris started off.
Yeah, my take on it is, like, you get that kid who just played in the McDonald's All-American game. He got $7 million, right? NIL bread, right?
Yeah.
When they offering that kind of money, that's life changing. That is, you take $1 million for yourself. You put $6 million into something that's going to give you 6% return, and you don't break your principal on that $6 million, and you're going to get a guaranteed $360,000 a year off of 6%, right? That's enough for your mama, your daddy, and everybody to live off of $300K, especially if they're making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. That is just common sense off that. Now, when you talk about 4, 5, 3, 2, $100,000, right? That's not life-changing money. It may be for some for a short period of time, especially what they're going to use the money for, right? So a lot of them, I think a lot of things that we're talking about, we need to also look at It's on a case by case basis. The way I was looking at it, and the way I would look at it is like me and my mom, we good. Like she good, I'm good. I take a little money. I wasn't starving. None of us were starving. We all bet on ourselves. Everybody on this call bet on ourselves. We had that in us. It's like what I did this year, I can do next year, especially if you're in the same system, right? So if you offer me $500K today, I'm gonna have the same system, same league, same network. I burn it up even more. I'm gonna be worth $1 million the following year. That's the way I'm looking at it, right?
Right.
And then that is a little bit of different. That's me betting on myself, and that's a little bit different bread. Where if I get to $1 million, you give me $1 million. Where me and my mom good. I'm used to not having no money. I came from no money. I'm used to eating hot dogs and PB&Js for lunch. I'm good. That means my mom who making $40,000, that $1 million is in a bucket that I don't even touch because my coach is gonna make sure I'm good. We still getting fed. Like I mean. Granted, Dayton exhibit. Listen, all y'all was good. Like everybody was not gonna go hungry. Some people did, but y'all coaches was not gonna do it, especially if y'all were producing. You know what I'm saying? So I think at the end of the day, we really got to look at it. And the way I was looking at it is more so like, look, $7 million. You talk about $1 million. You don't break that principle. You earn interest on it. It pays for itself. It pays for you. It pays to put your mom on. Like $1 million gets you easy 6%. Gets you $60,000 a year. If your mom ain't making that, if she making 20, she working at McDonald's, Wendy's, whatever. Look, you good. You winning. So that was just my take on it. I mean, yeah, if the money's good, but the only way I'm able to get that money is in the system that allowed me to showcase my talent. If I can no longer showcase my talent and I get that 200 or 100, the 150 or whatever I may get for this 1 year and I don't see the floor, what is my value after that? And I'm a sophomore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You right? So what is my
Yeah.
value at that point in time? Nobody I don't have no tape. And guess what? There's somebody else they like, oh, we can, we see value in him. And then here's another thing. A lot of people not taking into account that when you are a fan favorite following you know this. If you're a fan favorite to the boosters, to the alumni, you're setting yourself up down the line. So a lot of people probably not thinking that way. They think about the money, see the money. But when you talk about life-changing money, hear me clearly. The $1 million and plus, yes, you gotta move how you gotta move. Close.
Hey,
There we go.
he was cooking so much he burned that
Too
thing
much
up.
knowledge. Too much knowledge. Too much knowledge.
He burned that thing.
Hey, Paul, what's up, Paul? What's up, big bro?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, do you got anything to say about the? Would you have gone to it coming out of East Carolina? You know, we going on recruiting trips. We play football. You know, a little different. You know, a little sport. But would you have well, you already transferred, but would you have gone to the transfer portal?
I was out.
Okay.
No question about it.
Right.
No
See,
question
a
about
lot. Yeah. See, a lot of people talk about the money aspect of things, and what I'm saying is, I think we all have a passion to go to the next level, to show our skill set at that next level as well. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to play in the mid major, but if I'm playing at the back, let's go back in the day in the ACC, right? Now I'm getting a chance to show my skill set in the ACC every night. You know, I think that's one of the good things about the transfer portal as well. You know, if you talk about
I think the best thing about it is, like, when I left, I had to sit out, so that's why I went down. I was like, I don't want to sit out because I was coming off the ACL. Yeah, I had a hell of a freshman year, but I tore my ACL, and it was like, you got to sit out next year if you go, because it's West Virginia, Tennessee. I had a couple places I could have went. I was like, I just want to play, so that's why I went down. But I definitely would have took it if it wasn't no timeout. Like, if you ain't had no timeout, man, I wouldn't be on this call right now. I wouldn't be on this call right now. I wouldn't have been. We would have never lived together. We would have never lived together. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the good thing about the transfer portal. You don't have to sit out. I think Ramon maybe mentioned that about when your boy left and went to Clemson. And you was like, well, I don't want to sit out because I'm hot right now. You know, that's the thing about it. You don't have to sit out. So
that's the good thing.
Yeah, that's not a good thing, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because everybody's thinking what you just thought, and now it's like, oh, I'm putting my name in the portal, but you got it's only but so many scholarships available. You know what I mean? So I think I had a good year, but a lot of other schools don't think I had a good year. Now I'm sitting in the portal like, damn, I'm not getting
But I will say I think they need to put something in that portal though.
It's a lot of people that's jumping in there, but it's no different than when I told my mother that I wanted to leave East Carolina. She said, I ain't gonna make you stay there. She said, but understand that if you leave there, you got to don't leave there without nowhere else to go. You know what I'm saying? Like you can leave, and I'm gonna support you leaving. But East Carolina paying for your school, so if you leave, you better have somewhere else to go. These youngers jump in the portal with nowhere to go. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to restrict their movement because they ain't restricting coaches' movement. You know what I'm saying? Coaches get to do whatever they want. I'm glad the kids get to do whatever they want. For years, coaches been getting rid of kids as they see fit, and now that the kids got some power, now the coaches got a problem with the portal. It's no loyalty now. Everybody here played with somebody that they coach ran off. You know what I'm saying? Because the coach didn't want them. Right. So now that the kids can leave when they want to, it's a problem. Nah, I think it's great. Like, get them. Now, if you jump in that portal and you ain't got no options, you just made a bad decision. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to eat a shit sandwich until you can go somewhere else and eat something better. But if you ain't got nowhere to go, don't jump in the portal. But if you got options, get the hell on if you want to.
Yeah.
Well, I will say we need to do something about that portal because I don't know if y'all heard Rick Pitino. He said he ain't even paying attention to not one high school player. And so, I think it need to be maybe a restriction on how many portal guys you can get, because it's like you got kids that can't even get into school because they're not even giving you a chance. Matter of fact, they even asked him if they had a 5-star recruit from high school, would he holler at him? And he said no. He said he don't think he can win with guys from high school. So I think something needs to be at least put in place on that, maybe the number that you can have each year or something, because for guys coming out of school, man, that's really important.
I think that's bullshit because people have been winning with high school kids for 100 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, high school kids been playing. You know what I'm saying? They've been playing against grown men. So
it is crazy. I didn't mean to cut you off, Poon, but I don't know if y'all saw Indiana. Their coach, I think he got fired or something happened, and they got their whole basketball team. The whole basketball. Maduro, the whole basketball team in the transfer portal. They don't have one remaining player that was on that team last year. The whole team gone.
That happened to Kentucky last year.
My man nephew Brandon Tucker played. He said, man, it was just a fucked up dysfunctional environment. It was like they knew that shit.
Right. I'm not. Hey, look, you talking to the first person that would. So look, I'm with you.
But that's what they've been knowing since December that everybody was leaving.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like all the kids were saying, man, after this season, I'm out. I ain't fucking with this no more. I ain't fucking with Woody. I don't give a fuck who they bringing after him. Yeah. AD fucked up there. It was like the whole team ain't fuck with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because back in the day, transferring.
I'm happy for them brothers and sisters, though.
Yeah.
For making that money, they should get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also be able to go to where they need to go to fully be happy basketball wise, because back in the day it was a deterrent to transfer. If you transfer out of conference, you had to sit out the 1 year. If you transfer within the conference, you had to sit out the 2 years. So a lot of people who probably wanted to move on to somewhere that fit their game even better, they just held fast because of the fact they didn't want to sit out. They wanted to keep bumping, and they just kept the optimism and hoping things got better. But now this transfer portal, man, not only do you get to leave and go to somewhere that fits your game, you get to make some bread while doing it too, man. So I'm loving this new transfer portal NIL system. And man, I was born a little too early, brother.
Yeah. But hey, besides the money though, what y'all think about it? Because I came up on hard coaching, right? So now you gotta think about it too. A lot of these kids who ain't have to fight through adversity, they hopping. Part of the AAU culture, but they hopping. They ain't never have to fight through adversity or had a tough love coach where if you want to slack, you can slack, and if it don't fit your system, you can just hop in the portal.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
want,
Nah,
like,
we don't even, Chris. We're not even gonna waste our time on no. Excuse my language to our listeners and viewers on no shit like that.
okay.
We ain't even wasting our time
All
on shit like that, bro. Everybody on here is, like you said, is dogs. So the reason why we're saying that we would be in the transfer portal is to put our family in a better situation, or to get on a bigger stage, so that way I can show people I'm locking this person down, holding him to only 2 catches. It's a difference of holding Jockway Nunley down from Florida A&M and me holding Jockway Green down at University of Florida. You understand what I'm saying?
What I'm saying is that there's a level of dog that's missing. There's a lot of
Right,
they're not
100%. But
bred the
I
same.
know, but I'm saying everybody on this podcast, we not. It ain't even that type of party over here.
Hey, Chris, I agree with you, but I also think that coaches do hold a little bit of responsibility, because everything
100%.
evolves, man. And you can't do the shit now that you could do back in the day. So it is some things with tough coaching, but you also got to understand, like, your demographic that you're dealing with. I remember when I was in high school, like, we used to get one water break during football practice, and 2 days in August. Like, you get one, and then the coach be mad that you taking a lot of water. Like, what you doing? You saw him drinking all that water. He like, damn, we drinking water. Like, but that was shit that was acceptable back then. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's as much, the tough coaching. Yeah, the kids got to understand, but a lot of that shit is the culture and it's the parents. Like, when kids are allowed to jump from AAU team to AAU team because they never had to go through any adversity is one thing. You know what I'm saying? But once you make that commitment into your college, I think that's something totally different. You know what I mean? Like, I think you do need to lock in and fight through some shit, but also coaches have to be accountable to being able to, to be able to coach the players that they have too.
Just real quick, just to add to that.
But they also, go ahead.
Ron, you got it.
No, I was just gonna say, the one thing about it though, I definitely agree with everybody when it comes down to coaches can't really get on their ass like they used to. But the one thing about it, you got to adapt in life. And so once they start putting this money in it, that's out the window. You know what I'm saying? It's like overseas, it's like the NBA. You got a guy for a year or two, and you just got to make sure that you try to manage things. Because at this point, trying to do all that shit, man, they're gonna look at you like, bruh, I'm almost getting as much as you are, depending on the situation is, or I can go get that. So at the end of the day, you better just manage it, be a Phil Jackson or whatever, all that old school shit, that ain't gonna work no more.
Go ahead, Fowler.
I mean, again, it's two different stories, because it's like, you're right. It's like, now I'm treating them like professionals. You know what I mean? Like, college coaches, a lot of them don't want to go to the pros because they don't want to deal with the prima donnas. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to deal with all of that stuff. You know what I mean? But now, on a collegiate level, you got to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, and like Chris said, like, it's hard to coach and run. Like, I'm looking at the kid from St. John's, RJ. You the player of the year. You on one of the best teams in the country, and you want to leave because Pitino's coaching you hard. You know what I mean? Like, it just don't make sense to me. You know what I mean? And I get it. You're going to get your money somewhere else. But you on one of the top teams, and you're getting paid. But now, because a coach is coaching you hard, or how you don't like it, if he sits you out down in the rest of the, I don't know if it was in the tournament or what it was, but they set him down not to finish the tournament. But it's like, no, he's trying to teach you a lesson, but I can't teach you a lesson because now I feel like if I teach you a lesson, you're going to up and leave. It just don't make sense. You know what I mean? Now you got to
I ain't gonna lie now. If I'm the guy, don't teach me no lesson on no goddamn NCAA game.
You're right about that. I don't know what. I don't know what the situation was. I don't know why he set him down. I don't want to be taught a lesson either. Right. But again, I'm just bringing up that point. That
boy crazy.
Hey, Ramon, I feel that. I feel that.
But I don't know what happened.
You go down with me. Yeah. If I've been the guy, you got to go down with me. I don't care if I'm 0 for 30 or 6 for 20 like that. You go down with me.
But that's also an understanding that comes with you being with a coach more than 1 year. Y'all understanding, like, he like, yo, you my guy. Let's, you know what I'm saying? Like, like I'm on you for a good reason. But I think a lot of times they're not gonna get that. And then also too, let's not forget the pressures that the coaches are going through, right? The whole game has changed. Coaches used to be able to coach to develop a player. I saw you. I see you. I seen Fowler, and I'm like, I see him. I think he needs this to get to where we need him to be, or to get to that next level, because we know that's his ultimate goal. I can no longer coach him for that. I can no longer put him in position. I am now. You now got a 20-year-old telling somebody who has the connections with the NBA, with all that. He's telling him what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do now, and I think that loses it a bit, because coaches now from the AD, you got pressure to win right away. Matter of fact, not just from the AD, from the collectives. If you can't win with us paying this player this, then you need to go. So the coaches, that's why Rick Pitino's like, I'm not looking for high school kids, because the way I need a coach, what I need them to do is unproven. They're not. I don't know if they can handle it. I know this kid who I know this coach who coaches this way in this system. He's used to the D1 rigors, right? I know what to expect from him versus a high school kid who don't know nothing about it. The game is a little bit faster, unpredictable. Even if he's a 5-star, we know five. Just like all top college talent don't make it to the NBA and be successful. All high school talent that's good don't necessarily translate to successful college players, and that's where Rick Pitino is. And he's like, I got to win right away. If I don't win right away, if I have a losing season, and boosters are paying whatever they're paying for the NIL, and I'm getting paid. What is he getting paid? 5 million, 10 million, whatever.
Something crazy. Yeah, he get paid. He up
Something
there.
crazy. Yeah, we don't got time for you to lose. No,
that's right.
And so I can't coach you the way they need to be.
Yeah.
The game is different.
Yeah. Do y'all think the climate of the NCAA took a little bit of the excitement out of the NCAA tournament in terms of how we used to rally around the Cinderella team? Because now you don't see the Cinderella teams anymore. So, and I'll start with you, following, because you can specifically speak to it. I mean, you had the whole country rallying behind George Mason back in 06. So you think the climate kind of took a little bit of the pop away from that?
Oh, for sure. Again, you got all these teams, especially SEC. That's why they got so many teams in the tournament. They're just getting paid too much money, man. You got all the best players. Like I get it. Like guys want to go certain places. Like you used to go to Duke because of the tradition. You used to go to Kentucky because of the tradition. Arkansas, like nobody was for basketball. Nobody was going there for tradition. You know what I mean? Like they went to one Final Four, but again, it's not about that anymore. Like if you got Calipari leaving Kentucky to go to Arkansas. Kentucky had a tradition. Arkansas, like we know why he going over there. He got the collective. He got the money. You know what I mean? So it's just again, I don't know when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen, but at some point you got to say, okay, look, these Power 5 schools are just too. It's a big difference. Like you got one collective that got 10 million. You got one collective that got 500,000. It's mid majors, cool. So it's not even.
Yeah,
yeah. That's why I said that they got to do something with the. Either limit how many portal transfers you got, or also put a cap on maybe the money. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, each school can spend this amount of money, so you can kind of have some balance playing field. Because like a school like a Dayton, our president would put out a statement saying that they got to start putting that money together, because even though we have got to a place where people know who we are, but I mean we ain't one of the programs that really got that big money right now. So. If at least some type of cap or at least a limit on how many you can get, that may be able to even the playing field a little bit.
But also to add to that, the reason these mid-major schools were winning games is because they had juniors and seniors and fifth-year seniors. Right. They don't have that. Like those guys are leaving to go to these big-time schools. Yep. So now your sophomore and junior that you thought was going to ride out with you, that was killing his sophomore year, is going to be their junior and senior year. He got his sophomore year. He out. So now if I'm a Chattanooga, you know what I mean? I've developed players, like Chris said, I've developed players as a coach, and I'm bringing them into my system. By the time they're junior year, I'm like, okay, we ready. But no, they're gone. So it's difficult, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That portal, it works both ways, because you got the guard from Florida, Taylor, who when he came out of school, nobody wanted him. He wound up going to Iona with Rick Pitino, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He was a 4. I think he was a no-star, or I apologize. He was a no-star in basketball, but he was a 4-star in football. Mm-hmm. Had offers everywhere. You can look it up. He had Power 5 offers, but he wanted to play basketball. So that's a situation, Chris, where somebody bet on himself. If fellas, where he bet on himself, went to Iona, right? did what he was supposed to do. Rick Pitino leaves, he leaves. He goes to Florida, right? So, that's what I'm saying. I don't agree with the transfer portal when kids duck bump and kids run away from bump. But if your ultimate goal is to play on that particular stage and it can get you, and like Chris said, and like we all said, if you can go to where a coach believes in you, they're gonna allow you to do your thing, and you can go to a situation that will benefit you in your game. Then like I said, I'm totally for that. But I'm definitely not kids just jumping in the transfer portal just to leave because you're not getting playing time and things like that, right? Or you having a disagreement because your coach says, well, I'm sitting you down, like you said earlier, like what Patino did with the star player. So it's two sides of every story, but it's definitely that hard coaching. I think a lot of these kids are running away from 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the ones that's running, those are the ones that's getting stuck. Those are the ones that's not there. Like, if you were sitting on the bench at Dayton and you don't like the coach, you got to learn how to deal with that, because who's going to give you a scholarship if you only played 17 minutes all season? You know what I'm saying? So what's the use of jumping in the portal? That's where you got to develop that internal fortitude to work through some shit, because if you're not playing, you're not attractive. You ain't getting no offers. And if you ain't getting no offers, stay your ass on the portal.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't know anything about not getting playing time. So we go ahead to the next topic.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about that type of stuff. I don't know nothing about that. Nothing.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I know we get late on time, but we normally play rapid fire towards the end of the show. But instead of doing the rapid fire, I'm gonna do something a little different. Give you a hypothetical. So when your stock was the highest in school, your stock was the highest. If you were to enter the transfer portal, where would you had transferred to? Let's start with you following, and we'll go around the horn.
I mean, at that point, 2006, it's crazy when I averaged 17 points in the tournament. I only averaged 10 points during the season.
Mm-hmm.
So the stock went up during the tournament, and I mean, I would have went to any Power 5 school. I ain't gonna lie to you. Whether it was Kentucky, whether it was Georgetown, actually was one of my dream schools to go to before I chose George Mason. So it might have been Georgetown, just because, again, it was in the Big East, and it was a Power 5 school. So I'd say Georgetown.
Okay, Ramad.
Well, I originally signed with Georgia, but they had Jim Herrick, so that's when they went through all the NCAA. So I probably wouldn't fuck with them. But being realistic, I probably would have did that year with Clemson with Coach P and sat out a year and just had that 1 year in ACC and just got that look. You know what I'm saying? I think that might have been beneficial, because if I would have known the coach that I would have got the next year, I definitely would have left, because Brian Gregory, he ain't look at it all. When I left out, I'm still all A10, all that, and I had to struggle. He talking about I ain't had no workouts, no nothing. So I don't really think he was speaking good on me at all. I don't know how that went, but I definitely probably would have went to Clemson though.
Nice. What about you, Uncle Daryl? Would have utilized the transfer portal when your stock was the highest?
Without a doubt. Big East. So anywhere in the Big East.
Anywhere in the Big East. Okay.
Yeah, St. John's would have been it. St. John's would have been it.
Okay. New York City. All right. What about you, Chris?
So I would have to go back to Coach Bray. I would have went to Notre Dame. He knew how to work with undersized guards, and those that really were positionless, right? And I was a positionless player, and so he knew how to maximize what I could do, which put the ball in the hole, and so I would have went there because I knew I would have been able to carry on and magnify on a bigger stage what I could do.
Absolutely. What about you, G Lump?
I think I would have, especially after the sophomore year, I would have went somewhere in the ACC, probably either Georgia Tech or Wake Forest. Felt like I had, as a guard, like I could have matched with anybody there and competed.
Okay. Oh, dog, what about you?
Hey, it ain't about me. I'm cool, man. I would have just left. Period. I would have got out of there. Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, it's a whole nother topic. So
says whatever, huh?
I would have got out of there, Lump. I was out of there, brother. What about you? Shit, I was almost out of there, and I was at the school. So, what you think? Boom.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I left anyway, so.
Right?
Yeah. I probably would have went somewhere in the Big East though. Like I had a lot of schools in the Big East that showed a lot of love. So probably, West Virginia, Miami, somewhere like that. Maybe Syracuse.
Hey, we would have loved to have you out there in South Bend.
Grab eat shit too.
Quiet is kept. Wake Forest even though it's a small private school, man. They still they pull out a lot of basketball and football players, man. They pull out dogs, man. For it to be such a small school,
yeah,
especially in the basketball when when they was in that ACC, they was oh man, they had some players, man.
Yeah, they still in it.
Yeah, they had some players.
Cole, where you would have went now? Come on now.
Oh, I 100% would have left. Everybody know that. I would have been out. I should have been out. And then looking at before I get to where I would have went to, just looking at the Dayton team from last year, right? Their two best players, they had great seasons, stock high. They left. One went to Kentucky, that's Kobe Brea, and the other, his name is Kobe too. He went to Oklahoma. So Kobe Brea, that season he had last year was similar to my season when my stock was highest. You know what I mean? He averaged about 13 points. I averaged around 15. My year, he led the nation in 3-point percentage. I led the nation in 3-point percentage. So that year, stock was really high. I was getting calls from everywhere, agents, everything like that. So that would have been the year I would have left, and I would have transferred to Ohio State. Because a lot of people don't know, I originally committed with Boston College. That coaching staff left Boston College. Coach O'Brien and his staff went to Ohio State with Scooney Penn, Michael Redd, and all those guys. I actually ran into Coach Spiller, who was the head assistant coach, at a bar in Dayton, Ohio, getting twisted. And he's like, Cole, like, what's up? And then he told me right then and there, you're not happy? Come on up the road to Ohio State. And I regret that to this day. So I definitely would have went to Ohio State, got a couple dollars, and shit, wrote a whole new story.
That's dope. Right. Well, before we get out of here, we want to get everybody's take on who they like in this Final Four, men's and women. Who do you like and who do you think gonna win it all? Money Mo, we're gonna start with you since you've been quiet this whole time.
Oh man, you put me on the spot. Let's see. I've been consistent with the women. Being that I'm from South Carolina, that's the only damn thing we got going right now because Zion Williams is a bust. So I'm gonna go with USC on the women's side, and on the men's side, I'm gonna go with Cooper Flag and Duke. Even though I don't like Duke, I think Cooper Flag is a tremendous player.
Nice.
Go ahead, Uncle. Go ahead, Uncle Durrell. Go ahead, Uncle Durrell.
On the women's side, I like South Carolina. I'm going with Duke.
Okay.
Got who you got, Ramad?
For is the women's side, I think it's gonna be the winner between UCLA and UConn. So whoever come out of that, that's who I think gonna win it this year. The boys side, me being a Charlotte, North Carolina guy, I'm born Tar Heel, so it's hard for me to say Duke. I do think they're gonna be there, but if Florida take care of Auburn, I think Florida could take Duke out. If not, I hate to say it, but Duke probably gonna win it.
Yeah. Who you got, Poon? Can you on mute, big dog?
I said, my bad. Mine ain't changed. Houston and UConn.
Houston and UConn. I like those picks. Chris, who you got?
So y'all can go ahead and bet y'all money with me. I'm gonna give y'all the plays for this weekend. We're gonna go with Auburn over Florida, Duke to win it all,
Damn,
and USC to win it for the women's side. That's the plays y'all can bet me, and I expect 10% of all earnings, and I will follow up.
USC already out.
Yeah, look.
Nah, you talking about South Carolina. You know,
you're
it's
South
2 USC.
Carolina. You talking about South Carolina.
I'm about to say, damn.
I'm taking all. I'm taking. Look, I put it out there. You asked me that. I'm giving it. Look, that's what we doing.
So you taking the spread, the over under? What we doing?
I'm taking money line. I'm taking money line. I'm taking. Well, okay. Since we doing it this way, I'm taking Auburn by double digits over Florida.
Write this down. Yes, sir.
Yeah, write this down. Yeah, double.
Oh hell no.
Yeah,
Oh hell
double.
no.
And then I'm
Oh
taking
hell
Duke to
no.
win it all. I ain't got the spread on Duke, but yeah, I'm taking Duke to win it all. So if y'all use my I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna look y'all up in the registry.
Yeah, I'm gonna start the chat. Yeah. When we get off the line, Kobe gonna start the chat so we can talk shit. Y'all, during the tournament.
Yeah. I need my money. I need all
You
my
said
money.
you said double digits. You said
double
Auburn
digits.
double digits over.
I said Auburn by more than 10, and I got Duke winning it all. Yeah.
That's tough.
Hey, look, I gotta go with. Hey, he said that with so much confidence. I'm like, damn.
Look, he might know something we don't know.
Yeah. Hey, look, I wrote it down. I'm on
right. I'm about to say,
write it down.
What
parlay it. Y'all ain't gotta put up parlay it. Put up $10 on. I'm gonna make you some money.
No,
and I want 10%.
No, say.
Following, I know where you live at.
Man, Don Staley, a beast, man. He got them girls real gritty. So I'm going with South Carolina. At first, I had Florida, but I agree with Chris, man. I think Auburn gonna get them. I don't know about double figures, but Auburn, Duke, man. I like Duke, man. Cooper Flag, too good, and they're playing too well together right now.
Yeah. Me, I'm going with I'm going with Chris. Shit.
Hey, little bro, don't change
my money.
Come on, Cole, man. Come on.
Hey, he said, I'm telling you, man, like he got a book from the future. I'm telling you.
I'm going with Houston and I'm going with UConn.
Ooh,
and I'm not just saying that because my brother's going with Houston and UConn. I'm going with Houston in the upset, and I think it's UConn. Yeah, I think Paige, her coming off them knee injuries, and Flood or whatever coming off them knee injuries. I just don't think South Carolina got that. They got that one guard, but besides her, I just don't think they got enough this year. I think they need to get another guard.
Yeah, they dogs, but they win collectively. You know,
I like the girl from Hawaii, the shooter. She can shoot. She can draw the hair. I forgot her name. She can shoot. But Paige and but I'm gonna tell you though. With that being said, that big 7'6"
UCLA.
Yeah, from UCLA, G Lump. That
that's
big
what I'm
avatar.
trying to tell y'all.
Yeah, she look like an avatar. That jump.
Yeah.
Nobody guard her.
Yeah. But before Chris gave me those picks, I would have went with UConn for the women's side, and I was gonna go with Houston on the men's side. I think on the women's side, I think UConn got the best three players, like a collection of three players.
Yeah,
you know, they got Strong, the freshman Strong. Of course, they got Paige Beckers. She probably the best player that's left in the tournament, if you ask me. And then you got AZ Fudge. She back in full effect. You know, she healthy again, and she could easily be a first team All-American if it wasn't for the injury. So I'm going with that big three right there.
The little sleeper is that little the Asian girl that came from Princeton, the point guard. That had 12. I think she had 12 last night or the other day. She a sleeper too. She know how to run. She helped run that team too. So at the point. So UConn tough. UConn tough. But that big avatar out of UCLA, 6'7". Yeah.
And shout out to Kiki Rice out there. UCLA,
I know we said some. I know we said.
Only thing about her, she ain't gonna be able to be doing all them elbows and be physical like that against Gino. Referees ain't gonna they're gonna officiate her different against Gino.
Right.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I know we said I know we said something about the Cinderellas, but do y'all like that the big dogs is the last four?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not me. Like I do, but I don't. Like as a fan of the game, like of course my alma mater is Dayton, so I'm rooting for Dayton. So I'm looking at, hey, if we didn't lose those two players that left, you know what I mean? Now you talking about you making a run in the tourney. You know what I'm saying? I mean, last year they were Sweet 16 with the team that they had. You come back with your whole mob, you know, you got a chance to do something in the tournament. Right. So you miss your number one score and your number two score, and you got to rely on your 3 and 4 score to lead you all the way, then, you know, it's tough as a fan of the team that you want to win.
Right. Yeah, I just want to get y'all perspective on it because, you know, like some people they like the cream of the crop to rise and you know, and sometimes, you know, you have got some of them Cinderellas that got there and, you know, it was kind of a dud. So, you know, I was just wondering because I know for me, these been the 14s that's been the best all year. So, you know, to me, this year is exception where I am glad to see these teams because they have proved they've been the guys all year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now
I don't care. I don't care who wins as long as Duke don't win. I can't stand Duke. I can't stand
don't Duke, man.
I can't stand
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
Ever since Christian Laettner stepped on old boy, I don't like.
Hey, listen. I think I like them boys from Houston. They play hard, but you know,
they play D, man.
The money speaking to me. So
hey, Chris, look, look. I'm about to put my plays in. I'm gonna call you when we get off.
Call me. I got screens for you.
Hey, it's written down. Hey, we about to get it.
Hey, that boy, he knows something. He said that way too confident.
Listen, I'm a Houston fan. I like them boys. Them boys play hard, but I'm just, you know, follow the money.
Yeah. He said I double this.
Double.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
I think he's been talking. I think he's been talking to Michael Porter, brother.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, that's crazy.
Man. But man, let me get you boys out of here. I know I kept y'all longer than what I told you I was going to keep you, man. But look, we appreciate all of you exceptional former athletes and still doing great things, you know, out here, you know, being impactful. We definitely appreciate you joining us and spending time with us, telling your story. I know our viewers and listeners, you know, was ecstatic to hear all of your stories about NCAA, about your individual journeys, about your team journeys, about your opinions on NIL and the transfer portals. I thought it was all exceptional. And from the No Cap Sports Show podcast, we want to thank you from the bottom of our heart. And with that being said, Mo Money, get us out of here, brother.
To all our viewers and listeners, I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Please like, comment, and subscribe to today's show. And with that being said, we out.
Salute.
Bless y'all.